Hi, good morning. How are you guys? Welcome to the morning show, Peachtree Morning Show. It's Tuesday, February 18. We're so happy you're here with us. And today we have a lot of cool stuff to talk about. But first, before we go into our first question of the day, Scott wants to show you something.
Yeah, I really like the videos, guys, and we're really enjoying what you're sending in. So we've got...
You mean all the questions?
Yeah, sorry, all the video questions. Remember, send in your video questions to seedquestions@diamondcutterinstitute.com. And we're getting them. We need them to be in vertical selfie format with your face in the photo, if possible. This is Bridget. We love you, but we don't know where you're from. That's Bridget's window. And then we've got, let's see, June from Malaysia. We've got Ladell from Canada. We've got Roman again from Romania, we think.
I'm Sophie from Jakarta.
And that's a nice lady from Jakarta. And those are just a few of the questions we've gotten in, and we're going to get into a few of the cool questions we got last week today. What do you say, boss?
Yeah, well, today...
Let me get that for you.
Yeah, we want to talk about a very special question.
Tell me when you're ready.
It's amazing how many things you can ask in 30 seconds. So let us show you an example. And we chose one of the ideas that Moran Pober from Israel asked. Hi, Moran. Thank you for asking. So...
It's going to play.
Hey there, just wanted to ask you, what do you think someone should do on a daily basis to increase revenues, to increase profits, to increase his lifestyle? And at the same time, what would you tell someone in terms of helping him find perhaps a better business model that have no limits compared to the business model that I feel that I have now, that have some kind of a glass ceiling to the scale? So what do you think? Revenues, profits, unlimited scale, and lifestyle. What would you do daily to get there?
Whoa!
Oh, Moran, you
It's only
are
like 20
great.
questions.
Yeah, glass
You
ceiling. That's
are great.
beautiful. Glass ceiling. A lot of people are having that issue.
What is a glass ceiling? I mean,
Depends
Okay,
on-
so I want to just...
what's the American word mean?
Before we go into and discuss it, I want to talk. So Moran asked a lot of questions about lifestyle, to increase your lifestyle, to increase your revenue, increase your profit.
Business model.
And then he talks about business model and how can I break the glass ceiling that I have when I feel like I reached it in my business model, and maybe find a business model that gonna help me break through this glass ceiling. And this is what we want to talk about.
But I think you gotta define what's a glass ceiling, because I remember I didn't know the expression like 2 months ago, and it means in my business that I'm doing, there's only so much money I can make. Even the biggest person in my business doesn't make over that amount of money. We had the problem in our own business, right?
Yeah, and the first time I ever heard the term glass ceiling, it was more associated with with equal rights amendment, United States, women in business seemed to get to a certain level and they couldn't seem to go any higher on the corporate ladder. And then now today we're seeing this glass ceiling term being used to talk about, I hit a plateau in my business. I hit a place where I can't seem to grow anymore. And so it's 2020, February 18. DCI is 11 years old now, and we grew from grassroots, and we got to a point because we're just doing these up until now offline events, and we're traveling around the world all the time every year. Only so many cities you can get to in 2 weeks. Only so many hours you can push the human body.
There's only so many airplane miles you can put on a human.
Right, and only so many people you can fit into a hotel ballroom or a theater, and we had to try to take a hard look not just at the conventional ideas for how to be able to reach more people, but also what seeds are there that are causing us to run into this glass ceiling.
People started talking about a stadium. We'll put you in a stadium.
Right.
We'll have 10,000 people there. But even then, there's a limit.
Right.
How many stadiums can you go to in 1 year?
Yeah, there's seven.
I think there is the human hunger to always want more.
Yeah,
I
I
reached
like
to
it.
a place and I always want more. I'm dissatisfied where I am, and so we always live under this glass ceiling.
Yeah.
But I think.
Well, and just to frame it out too, look, we believe that the ideas at the base of the DCI system, which we took from the greatest thinking in the world, We believe that that is something that turns everybody on and is a universal solution for everybody. So there's 7.7 billion people in the world. Right now we're getting to about 35,000 people in ballrooms every year. That's 220,000th of the world's population. So we believe we have hit a glass ceiling. We want to go much higher.
Okay, so we understand you, Moran. We also reached a certain glass ceiling and
Yeah.
we want to break through. Okay, so how can we do that? Geshe?
Yeah, I'm afraid.
Wow.
By the way, I have a suggestion from Moran, and it's gonna take me 6 full videos.
Oh, Moran, you're very lucky.
And I decided your question should be what we call a DC online, we call online for your life question. And I think it needs 6 videos. We recently did a series of 6 videos called Success Detective. And it's been very, very popular around the world. Many thousands of people have been watching it. So we're gonna start doing these 6 video sessions. And your question was so cool. And I had, this many notes about answering it. And I think we'll take it as a separate series. And we'll do a separate series about your question.
There's so much content to talk about, so we can take
How you
it
doing?
to another level.
It's the Peachtree Cafe.
Hey, good morning. Can you help me out here?
Yeah.
I just
Actually,
got.
we're doing a business video right now.
Oh, yeah?
You're on the video.
You're live on the internet
Hey,
right
how's it
now.
going, folks? I hope everything goes good and you're successful.
Okay, come in and talk to me.
All right, well, we're going to continue while Geshe Michael talks to that gentleman outside. But first of all, Moran, it's a great question. It's a great question. It goes to some of the core issues that a lot of people are having in business today. And one of the big things, I think Arit will talk more about this, is one of the experiences that we have in DCI around the world is that anytime we look at big picture, big goals, we break those goals. We break the big goals down into components. You want to talk more about that?
Okay, so if you are familiar with one of the models that we have in DCI, it's what we call the 4 steps, right? Geshe Mike is
Yeah,
back.
sorry.
Okay.
That guy he had a problem with his car.
So I was just talking about the model of 4 steps of
Yeah.
how to create success in your life, in certain area in your life. So the first one is decide what you want. So this one we already know. I want to break the glass ceiling. I want to find a business model to break through my glass ceiling. Second one is to find another person who have a similar problem, and then help them once a week. This is the third one, for 1 hour. And the fourth one is constantly having this mindset that I'm so happy that I'm helping somebody else that having similar issues to me. So I would like to concentrate about who is the person that I should find. And I think this is what we call powerful object. There are certain people in our life that if we help them, the result become faster and more powerful. You want to talk a little bit about this?
Yeah, I would say that. I think in the first step is to decide what you want. So I understand the problem because you have a business, and it could be any business. We have a cafe here, and we have a limit of how much money we will ever make in this cafe.
Someday we hope it's a cafe. Yeah.
No, we're building it out now, but people told us there's a limit. You can't make more than this much money in a cafe. And I say no, and then you got to talk about a very powerful object, very powerful object. And in the one way of presenting it, there's 3 choices. One is you can help a friend of yours, right? Somebody you already know, to break through their glass ceiling. If you want a more advanced practice, pick somebody you don't know, a stranger, because to help a stranger is more good seeds than to help a friend or a family member.
Why is that?
Because it's not someone you would normally help, but who is still part of you.
Wow.
And you don't recognize it.
Cool.
And that's a difficult thing to understand.
So helping stranger is much more powerful than helping somebody you know.
And then what's more powerful than that?
Helping somebody that helped you in the past.
No. Helping someone who's your competitor.
Competitor.
Okay.
You know,
So the reason Arit said helping somebody that's helped you in the past is because those are the classical powerful objects. Now Geshe Michael's riffing to something in a business context that's really hard and takes courage.
yeah, and the more radical step you take, the more you're going to smash that glass ceiling, and things are going to happen.
Wow.
So the more you're willing to be brave and help somebody who is considered to be your competitor,
Yeah.
you're actually planting a much more powerful seed.
And more on, people will think you're crazy, and that's we might call that crazy wisdom. You might call it leadership. It takes courage, right?
So I would also like to cover the classical powerful object that we have. So Geshe Michael talked about the non-classical one,
Yeah.
but there is the classical one, which is the first one people are in great need. So in this case, people who are constantly suffering from certain kinds of discrimination, right? Because this is a basic glass ceiling.
Society put a ceiling on
Yeah,
Wow.
society put a glass ceiling on them.
Yeah.
So any person, it could be people who being in jail and they're
Yeah.
released, right? Society discriminate them. It could be racial thing, right? Society also
Could be religious.
It could be religious.
Could be male, female thing.
Male, female.
Could be age.
Could be age. It's a
Wow.
big thing, right?
Yeah.
So this is people who are in great need, meaning they are constantly living under a certain kind of a glass ceiling all the time.
Yeah.
And it's very powerful to help them. Second one is people who are facing a glass ceiling, but they helped you in the past. So when somebody helped us in the past, we have what we call like a seed debt toward them. Right? So if we help them, if we repay them for them helping us, the seed that we are planting is much, much stronger. And then the third classical one,
Is helping, do you remember? It's helping people help a lot of other people. So if you have somebody you know who's helping a lot of other people, like to help a doctor who is helping many other people.
but in this case, we want to help somebody else that helping a lot of people that lives under glass ceiling.
Yeah, like we have friends in New York City who run a special program for the government that helps people who have a glass ceiling because of their race or they are new immigrants.
Yes.
And to help those people who are helping many other people, it's like multiplying your seeds automatically. And what I wanted to say something to Moran, because his question caused me to have like 2 or 3 hours of thoughts about it. And I was just thinking, and this is a little bit deeper thing, okay? You could say that there exists out there somewhere a higher ceiling for the business you're in, but people just didn't recognize it, you know? Like there was a solution to breaking this glass ceiling in your business, and it was out there, but people couldn't find it, and then you're looking to find it. Okay, that's one way to think about it, okay? Another way to think about it is to create a new glass ceiling for the business that you choose, okay? So whatever business you're in,
Wow.
you create, you innovate a new glass ceiling for that business, and somehow that assumes that it's kind of out there in the future. See, the first kind is out there somewhere else in the world. The second kind is out there somewhere else in the future, and you have to discover it. You see, and I would say both of those concepts are limiting. They are a glass ceiling in themselves.
Oh.
And
okay.
you need to break through the conceptual glass ceiling, which is that you have to understand that you set your own ceiling in the past.
So if I understand you correctly, every time that I'm willing to break through a glass ceiling of a conceptual glass ceiling that I have in my mind, I'm
Yeah.
planting seeds also to create breakthrough in my business model.
And don't think that glass ceiling is natural. It came from you in the first place.
It's pretty cool. Can I just ask you, Michael? I think people might be confused when you say when you're creating a glass ceiling. Can you explain that more? What it means?
Well, what I'm saying, let's say you're in the DCI business.
Yeah.
And there's only so many people can fit in a stadium,
Right.
and there's only so many flights that you and me and Arit can take in 1 year. Who created that ceiling? Who made that ceiling? Who
Right.
made that model? Don't think it's natural. Don't think it exists somewhere in the universe. You made it.
Not by conventional
Yeah.
actions, but by things we
Yeah.
say, imprints, things you planted in the past.
By attitudes. So if you change your attitude, if you start doing these 4 steps, and you realize that you can create a new ceiling for your business, for your kind of business that you are choosing to do, you can remake the glass ceiling. The important thing is to understand that glass ceiling is coming from you.
Wow, and I think we're keeping these morning shows to 18 minutes or so, guys. So we have to begin thinking about wrapping up for today.
Maybe
We want specific
give us
things Moran can do.
yes, specific things that Moran can do. Okay, so I will say one of them is do the 4 steps and consider very carefully who is the person that you choose to help.
Yeah.
What's the cause and effect, though? What's he trying to accomplish?
He's helping someone else break out of their glass ceiling.
Okay.
Exactly. Gosh.
Once a week,
Once a week.
for free,
For free.
for 1 hour.
And don't forget, be happy about that.
Yeah, but what I want to say is, Moran, we committed today to make you a special series
Wow.
of 6 videos, and we'll make it available to everybody. Because I think your questions, the whole question you asked, was amazing, and I think it deserves like a small series of videos.
Wow, Moran, you created a
Yeah,
chain
and
reaction. here.
Another practical thing, Moran, is
Well, what I'm saying is, go watch the 6 videos. that
goes
we made
watch.
to-
But before that, there was one more very basic thing that we talked about here: is try to find when we have a kind of limited thinking in our mind, because when we have a limited thinking in our mind, when we believe that the world is coming outside of us and it's not coming from our seeds, it's actually create also a limited business model.
Wow.
Which means you don't realize that the glass ceiling you hit in the past was a creation of your own mind.
From a limited kind of thinking, right?
Li-
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Not understanding that there's infinite potential, basically.
So every day, let's try to break this limitation of thinking that the world is coming to me,
Right.
toward me, instead of coming from me.
So basically, just trying to consider that possibility, we say it's very powerful seeds, right?
I'll tell you a funny thing though. They told me this cafe can only make so much money a month. It's tiny, and it's in a bad location in a poor town, And we want to open it for the elderly and for mentally disturbed people nearby. And you know
Not
what?
that the person that came here is meant
Not
to
me.
Yeah.
But you know what? The little shows that we've been filming here have already broken that ceiling by about 50 times or something.
Right.
So,
Yeah, we see that we're reaching many thousands of people.
but this is how you increase it.
So, Moran, you have started a chain reaction, which is going to result in
Thank
another
you for
series of
amazing
videos.
question.
Thank you for the great question. And now we're going to move on to talk about tomorrow's question for Wednesday. Take it away, boss.
Okay, here we go.
Hi, I'm Luisa from Colombia, but living in Germany, and this is my question. I would like to hear your opinion about karmic parenting. Children are the best catapult for us, for our spiritual development, because they really push our buttons very easy and very often. But to see where are the seeds that I planted to see my kids' own behavior is very difficult because the correlations are not very obvious. So what will be your advice on that and how to teach kids about karmic seeds? Thank you.
Whoa.
Oh, okay, kids.
Karmic parenting, that's like a whole new
Yeah.
company, basically. But Luisa, we've seen you at many events around the world, especially in Germany.
Yeah,
What do you want to say there?
Yeah, and so tomorrow we're going to cover your question, how to talk. We're going to talk about seeds and kids.
I like it, karmic parenting.
I think she was asking 2 questions, right? Like basically, how do I find the seeds I planted to see what I see in my kids? And also, how do I teach them?
Yeah.
That's a huge question that comes up.
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
We'll
Okay,
talk about-
guys.
Thank you. Love you guys.
Thanks for having coffee with us this morning. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye-bye.